Have you ever walked into a room, looked at someone's face, and felt in your gut that they didn't like you, but they smiled anyway? That strange tension in the air, the fake grin, the forced tone of voice that sounds polite but feels sharp. We've all felt it, and here's the truth. People rarely tell you when they dislike you. They won't come out and admit it. Instead, they'll hide it behind gestures, words, and behaviors that seem harmless at first glance. But your instincts know. Your body knows. You feel drained around them, uneasy, like something isn't being said. That's not your imagination. It's a signal. The problem is, most people ignore those signals. They tell themselves, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe it's just me. And in doing so, they allow hidden negativity to keep poisoning their confidence, their relationships, and their peace. Let me tell you something important. If you want to protect your energy, if you want to walk through life with strength and clarity, you must learn how to see what's not being said. Because when someone dislikes you but hides it, their silence can be more dangerous than their honesty. A person who tells you they don't like you gives you clarity. But a person who pretends to like you while secretly resenting you, that person can drain you without you even realizing it. So today we're going to peel back the mask. I'm going to show you the 7 subtle signs that reveal when someone dislikes you, but is hiding it. And once you learn to recognize these signs, you'll never look at people the same way again. You'll see the truth behind the smile, the meaning behind the words, and you'll finally know who deserves your energy and who doesn't. Most people walk through life believing that as long as no one is openly attacking them, they are safe. They think dislike has to be loud, obvious, and confrontational. But the truth is, the most damaging form of dislike is the one that hides in silence behind smiles and underneath polite words. Because when someone secretly dislikes you, you are left blind to their true intentions. You continue to engage, you give them your time, your energy, your trust, while they quietly withhold respect, sincerity, and loyalty. Recognizing hidden dislike matters because it protects you from investing in people who do not genuinely value you. Think about how much energy you put into relationships, whether it's at work, with friends, or even within your family. You give parts of yourself every time you interact. You open up, share your thoughts, put effort into connection. If the other person doesn't like you but hides it, then every ounce of effort you pour into that connection is wasted energy. And worse, it often leaves you feeling confused and drained, because you can sense something is wrong but you can't quite put your finger on it. Hidden dislike is dangerous because it masquerades as acceptance. A person may nod when you speak, but their body is stiff. They may smile at you, but their eyes are cold. They may say the right words, but their tone carries sharpness, a subtle edge you can't shake. And because they don't say outright that they dislike you, you second-guess yourself. You wonder, maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe they're just tired. Maybe I'm too sensitive. That's how hidden dislike chips away at you. It doesn't come with a warning. It doesn't come with clarity. It comes with doubt. Doubt that you're reading the situation correctly. Doubt in your own instincts. That doubt is exactly why you need to sharpen your awareness. Recognizing hidden dislike is not about becoming paranoid or assuming everyone is out to get you. It's about learning to trust the signals your instincts pick up. It's about respecting yourself enough to stop chasing validation from people who don't value you. Every moment you spend trying to win over someone who secretly dislikes you is a moment stolen from someone who could genuinely respect and support you. Consider how many people stay in toxic friendships because they refuse to admit the truth. Their so-called friend never really shows excitement for their wins, always finds subtle ways to undermine them, and never offers real support. But because there are no open arguments, they convince themselves the friendship is real. Months, even years pass by while they keep trying to prove their worth to someone who never valued them in the first place. If they had recognized the hidden dislike earlier, they could have walked away with dignity, invested their energy into healthier relationships, and spared themselves the pain of constant disappointment. The workplace is another place where hidden dislike shows up. Maybe it's the colleague who nods in meetings when you speak but always blocks your ideas behind closed doors. Maybe it's the manager who tells you they appreciate your hard work but never gives you the same opportunities they give others. If you can't see through the mask of politeness, you might spend years wondering why you're not advancing, why things don't feel fair, why the atmosphere feels heavy every time that person is around. But when you learn to recognize the subtle signs, you can make strategic choices. You stop putting your trust in people who will never support you, and instead you align yourself with those who do. Recognizing hidden dislike also strengthens your emotional intelligence. Life isn't about avoiding every negative person. That's impossible. It's about becoming wise enough to see the truth in people without them saying a word. Emotional intelligence is about reading the cues others miss, the shift in tone, the lack of warmth, the hesitation before a compliment, the way someone's eyes betray them, even when their mouth speaks sweetly. When you become skilled at reading these unspoken truths, you give yourself a powerful advantage. You stop wasting time, you stop chasing approval, and you begin moving through life with clarity. Another reason this awareness matters is because hidden dislike often disguises itself as support. Have you ever had someone congratulate you, but their words felt hollow? Have you ever noticed how someone claps for you, but their face doesn't match the celebration? These small contradictions are not accidents. They are glimpses into how someone truly feels about you. If you don't pay attention, you'll believe the performance, and you'll keep leaning on people who secretly hope you fail. Recognizing the truth allows you to create boundaries and guard your energy. At the heart of it, this isn't about them, it's about you. It's about respecting yourself enough to no longer settle for relationships built on lies and facades. When you learn to identify hidden dislike, you take back your power. You stop asking, "Why don't they like me?" and start asking, "Why do I care if they don't?" You free yourself from the endless cycle of chasing after people who were never meant to stand beside you. Every second you spend trying to prove your worth to someone who secretly dislikes you is a second stolen from your growth, your peace, and your potential. Hidden dislike becomes a silent thief of confidence, but only if you let it. By recognizing it early, by trusting your instincts, you can cut off the drain before it consumes you. You can walk away not bitter, not angry, but clear about who is for you and who never was. Because the truth is this, people who secretly dislike you are not your responsibility. Their hidden feelings are not your problem. To fix, your responsibility is to yourself, to protect your energy, to invest your time in people who uplift you, to stand in environments that support your growth. Once you stop ignoring the signs, you stop being blindsided. And when you stop being blindsided, you become unstoppable. When someone dislikes you but doesn't want you to know, they rarely come out and say it. Instead, their true feelings slip through in subtle ways, small behaviors, fleeting expressions, or words that don't quite match the moment. Most people overlook these clues, brushing them aside as imagination or coincidence. But if you pay attention, you'll see patterns. The truth always leaks out, no matter how hard someone tries to hide it. There are 7 subtle signs that reveal when someone secretly dislikes you, and once you learn to recognize them, you'll see the truth with clarity. The first sign comes through body language. Our bodies are honest, even when our words are not. A person who secretly dislikes you may keep a physical distance, crossing their arms, leaning away, or avoiding touch. They may stiffen when you approach, their posture changing as if to create a barrier. They'll avoid eye contact, or if they do look at you, their gaze feels cold and fleeting rather than warm and engaged. You might notice that when you enter the room, their shoulders tighten, their jaw sets, or they suddenly shift uncomfortably. These movements are small, but they're powerful indicators of discomfort or dislike. You can't fake ease in someone's presence, and the body always reveals what the heart conceals. The second sign is the smile that doesn't reach the eyes. People know they're supposed to be polite, so they'll smile to appear friendly, but when it's forced, the smile feels hollow. The corners of their mouth lift, but their eyes remain flat. Their face lacks warmth, and the timing feels unnatural. A genuine smile flows effortlessly. It lights up the whole face. A fake smile is mechanical, like a mask that drops the moment they think you're not looking. Pay attention to how long the smile lingers. If it vanishes the second you look away, that person is not smiling out of genuine warmth. They're smiling to cover their true feelings. Another sign is a backhanded compliment. This is where dislike slips out through disguised words. Someone who secretly dislikes you might say things like, "Wow, you're more confident than I expected," or "That presentation was actually good." The compliment seems positive, but it carries a subtle sting that undermines you. Backhanded compliments are a way for people to express negativity without appearing outright rude. They get to maintain the facade of friendliness while planting seeds of doubt in your mind. If you notice a pattern where compliments never quite land as genuine, where they always carry a hidden jab, that's not encouragement. That's dislike in disguise. Like also shows up in avoidance and minimal effort. When someone doesn't like you, they'll limit their interactions, they'll respond to your messages late or not at all, and when they do, their answers are short and detached. They won't make an effort to engage in deeper conversations, they'll give you the bare minimum. If you invite them somewhere, they always have an excuse. If you share something meaningful, their responses feel flat or distracted. They might tolerate your presence in group settings, but they rarely initiate contact on their own. This isn't about people being busy, this is about people intentionally choosing not to invest their time in you. A fifth sign comes through microexpressions, those tiny flashes of emotion that appear on the face before someone can control them. You might say something about your success, and for a split second, their face tightens or their eyes narrow before they quickly cover it with a smile. You might walk into the room, and before they compose themselves, their expression reveals annoyance or disapproval. These microexpressions are unfiltered truth. The face betrays what the heart feels before the mind can mask it. If you train yourself to notice these flashes, you'll see the dislike they try so hard to bury. Then there's gossip and indirect jabs. A person who secretly dislikes you may never insult you to your face, but you'll hear about the things they say when you're not around. They'll make subtle comments in group settings, phrases that seem harmless but are meant to diminish you. They'll disguise it as humor, sarcasm, or playful teasing, but the intention is to chip away at your image. Gossip is a coward's weapon. Instead of addressing you directly, they spread their dislike in shadows, using others to carry the weight of their negativity. If you find out someone consistently talks about you when you're not present, that's not just curiosity, that's hidden dislike coming to light. The final sign is the absence of genuine support. When people truly like you, they want to see you win. They celebrate your victories, they encourage your efforts, and they show up when it matters. But when someone secretly dislikes you, their support will always feel reluctant or non-existent. They may say congratulations, but their tone is flat. They'll find ways to downplay your success or quickly change the subject. They won't share in your joy because deep down your progress threatens them. Instead of cheering, they sit in silence, or worse, they subtly remind you of your failures. Real support cannot be faked. It has energy, warmth, and sincerity. The lack of it speaks volumes. These 7 signs are not random. They are patterns that reveal what people try to hide. Body language, fake smiles, backhanded compliments, avoidance, microexpressions, gossip, and lack of genuine support. Each one is a signal. One sign on its own might not mean much, but when several appear together, the truth becomes undeniable. The key is not to obsess over every gesture, but to step back and notice the overall consistency of behavior. People can fake words, they can fake smiles, but they cannot fake energy. When you start recognizing these signs, something shifts inside you. You stop chasing people who show you they don't value you. You stop wasting your energy on trying to win approval from those who've already made up their mind about you. Instead, you choose wisely where to invest your time. You begin surrounding yourself with people who show genuine warmth, respect, and support. The ability to see through the mask doesn't just protect you, it empowers you. Because once you know who secretly dislikes you, you stop giving them the power to confuse you, drain you, or make you question yourself. There's a weight that comes with being around someone who secretly dislikes you, and it's not always obvious at first. It shows up in small, subtle ways. A conversation that leaves you feeling strangely drained. A smile that feels more like a mask than a gesture of warmth. A silence that lingers longer than it should. The emotional impact of hidden dislike runs deep, because it doesn't confront you directly. It slips in quietly, like a shadow you can't quite see, but you can feel. And over time, it starts to affect the way you see yourself, the way you trust others, and even the way you move through the world. When someone openly dislikes you, at least you know where you stand. It may sting, but it gives you clarity. You can decide to distance yourself, address it head on, or simply move on. But when dislike is hidden, you live in uncertainty. You sense that something is off, but because the signals are subtle, you second guess yourself. This creates an internal battle. You ask questions like, did I do something wrong? Did I say something that upset them? Am I imagining it? That constant questioning chips away at your confidence. It makes you doubt not just the other person's feelings, but your own judgment and instincts. Hidden dislike can also make you overcompensate. When you sense that someone doesn't truly like you, but won't admit it, you may feel an urge to win them over. You go out of your way to be nicer, to seek approval, to prove yourself worthy of their respect. But the harder you try, the colder they remain. This creates a painful cycle. The more you give, the more you realize that no amount of kindness will change their perception of you. That realization can leave you feeling unworthy, as if the problem lies within you rather than in their hidden resentment. This type of emotional drain is especially harmful because it is so subtle. You don't walk away from the interaction angry. You walk away exhausted, confused, unsettled. You can't point to one specific thing that happened, yet you know you didn't feel supported, respected, or safe. And when this pattern repeats over time, it eats away at your sense of belonging. You start to silence yourself, to hold back your opinions, to shrink a little in their presence because you sense that who you are is not fully accepted. Hidden dislike also breeds isolation. Imagine being in a group where one person secretly dislikes you. They don't say it out loud, but they show it in how they interact. Maybe they exclude you from subtle conversations, respond flatly when you speak, or dismiss your contributions in ways others don't notice. The rest of the group might not pick up on it, but you feel it, and that feeling of being quietly excluded can make you withdraw, creating distance not only with that person, but with the group as a whole. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with one person's dislike, you're dealing with the loneliness that comes from feeling you don't fit in. On a deeper level, hidden dislike can make you distrustful. When you've experienced enough people who smiled in your face but secretly disliked you, you start to wonder who you can truly trust. You question the sincerity of compliments, the authenticity of friendships, the loyalty of colleagues. And while being cautious can protect you, being overly distrustful can rob you of genuine connections. This is the long-term danger of hidden dislike. It doesn't just affect how you see that one person, it can affect how you see people in general. It can make you guard your heart so tightly that you stop letting anyone in. There is also a subtle form of emotional pain that comes from realizing someone dislikes you for reasons that may have nothing to do with you. Sometimes people dislike you out of jealousy, insecurity, or unresolved issues within themselves. Yet because they don't admit it, you carry the burden, you carry the weight of their unspoken negativity, and it can make you feel guilty for simply being who you are. If your success, confidence, or happiness triggers their hidden dislike, you might find yourself dimming your own light just to avoid conflict. And that is one of the greatest emotional costs, silencing parts of yourself because of someone else's hidden resentment. But perhaps the most damaging impact of hidden dislike is how it makes you question your worth. When people dislike you openly, you can see it for what it is, their opinion, not your identity. But when people disguise it, you start to internalize it. You think, if they're pretending to like me, it must be because I'm not good enough to be liked for who I truly am. That quiet, creeping doubt can follow you into other areas of life, influencing how you view yourself at work, in friendships, or even in romantic relationships. Yet here's the shift. Hidden dislike only has the power to harm you if you ignore what you feel. The emotional impact becomes devastating when you suppress your instincts and convince yourself that everything is fine. But when you acknowledge what your gut is telling you, when you admit that the energy feels off, that the support isn't genuine, that the smiles don't match the eyes, you begin to take back your power. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Recognizing hidden dislike won't stop it from existing, but it will stop it from controlling you. Instead of letting it drain you, you can choose to detach emotionally. Instead of trying to win someone over, you can decide they don't deserve that effort. Instead of questioning your worth, you can remind yourself that someone else's dislike, hidden or not, says more about them than it does about you. The emotional impact of hidden dislike is real. It confuses, drains, isolates, and sometimes even wounds deeply. But once you face it with honesty, it loses its power. It can no longer make you doubt your instincts or your value. Instead, it becomes a reminder that not everyone will like you, and that's perfectly fine. Your peace, your confidence, and your identity do not depend on universal approval. They depend on your ability to see clearly, protect your energy, and keep moving forward no matter who secretly dislikes you. When you begin to notice the signs that someone secretly dislikes you, the real challenge is not in the recognition, it's in how you choose to respond. The natural human instinct is often to react emotionally. Some people get defensive, confronting the other person with anger, demanding answers and escalating the tension. Others go in the opposite direction, shrinking themselves, trying to win back approval, and bending over backwards to make the other person like them. Both responses leave you powerless. One traps you in conflict. The other traps you in a cycle of people-pleasing. Neither response protects your peace or honors your worth. The key is to respond with strength, clarity, and composure. The first thing you must remind yourself when you realize someone secretly dislikes you is that their opinion of you is not your responsibility. This is difficult for many people to accept because deep down we all want to be liked. We all crave connection, acceptance, and validation. But the truth is, you could be the most kind, intelligent, and generous person in the room, and someone will still find a reason not to like you. People dislike others for reasons that often have nothing to do with the person they dislike. It could be jealousy, insecurity, or unresolved issues within themselves. If you spend your energy trying to figure out why they dislike you, you waste time chasing a problem that isn't yours to fix. The healthiest response is to let go of the need to be understood by everyone, and instead focus on the people who see your value without conditions. Responding effectively also means maintaining composure. When you discover hidden dislike, the temptation is to expose it, to call the person out to prove that you're not blind to their behavior. But what do you gain by that? Usually nothing. It will deny it, deflect, or play innocent, making you appear overly sensitive or confrontational. The stronger move is to acknowledge the reality privately and adjust your behavior accordingly. You don't need a dramatic confrontation to protect yourself. You simply need to stop giving them access to your energy. You can remain civil, respectful, and professional, but without offering more of yourself than necessary. Boundaries are one of the most powerful tools you have when dealing with people who secretly dislike you. A boundary doesn't have to be spoken. It can be a quiet shift in how you interact. You stop oversharing personal information with them. You stop going out of your way to invite them into your world. You minimize unnecessary interactions, keeping conversations brief and purposeful. By doing this, you send a message: I see you, I know where we stand, and I won't invest more into this connection than it deserves. This is not about being cold or bitter, it's about being wise with your time and energy. Another critical part of your response is refusing to chase their approval. Many people, upon sensing dislike, fall into the trap of trying harder to win the person over. They become more agreeable, more accommodating, even at the expense of their own boundaries. But the harder you chase, the more power you give away. When you notice dislike, the best response is to remind yourself of your worth and stand firm in it. And not everyone has to like you, and you don't have to make yourself smaller or softer to be accepted. The people meant for you will not need convincing. There's also a lesson in professionalism when dealing with hidden dislike, especially in the workplace. You may not have the luxury of walking away from every person who doesn't like you, but you do have the power to control how you engage. You can remain polite, efficient, and respectful while keeping the interaction strictly business. You don't need to expose their dislike to the world. Instead, you keep your focus on the work, on your goals, on your growth. The less you react to their hidden negativity, the more it reflects poorly on them, not you. Over time, others will see the truth without you having to say a word. It's also important to remember, that silence can be one of your strongest responses. Not every jab needs a comeback. Not every fake smile needs to be matched, and not every rumor needs to be confronted. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. By not reacting, you show that their hidden dislike holds no weight in your life. Silence isn't weakness. It's a refusal to let someone else's negativity dictate your behavior. It's choosing to walk away with your dignity intact, rather than being dragged into pettiness. But perhaps the most transformative response is turning the experience into growth. Every time you notice someone's hidden dislike, you are sharpening your emotional intelligence. You are learning how to read people more clearly, how to protect your energy more wisely, and how to carry yourself with strength. Instead of letting hidden dislike weaken you, you can let it shape you into someone who sees the truth without needing validation, someone who trusts their instincts without second-guessing, someone who remains unshaken no matter who approves or disapproves. Ultimately, responding to hidden dislike is about choosing strength over reaction, clarity over confusion, and peace over drama. You don't need to confront every person who secretly resents you. You don't need to win their approval. You don't need to prove your worth to them. What you need is to recognize the signs, accept the truth, and make quiet adjustments that protect your energy. You need to remind yourself that their dislike does not define your value, and you need to keep moving forward with confidence, focusing on the people and opportunities that align with who you are. Because at the end of the day, the way you respond to hidden dislike says more about your character than their behavior ever will. If you choose composure, if you choose boundaries, if you choose peace, you rise above the negativity, you become untouchable, not because no one dislikes you, but because their dislike no longer has the power to affect you. When you finally recognize that someone secretly dislikes you, it's not the end of the world, it's the beginning of taking your power back. Awareness is not about feeding your insecurities or obsessing over who doesn't like you. It's about standing in clarity, because clarity gives you freedom. When you know the truth, you don't waste time trying to win approval from people who have already made up their mind about you. You stop bending yourself into uncomfortable shapes, trying to fit into places where you were never truly welcomed. That realization alone is an act of strength. Think about how much energy people waste when they are blind to hidden dislike. They replay conversations in their minds, wondering, did I say something wrong? Why do I feel so drained when I'm around them? They work harder to be accepted, believing that maybe if they change themselves just a little bit more, they'll finally win that person over. But here's the truth, you cannot convince someone to value you if they've already decided not to. And why would you want to? Why pour your energy into someone whose spirit doesn't meet you with respect? This is where awareness transforms into power. Because once you see through the disguise, you're no longer their pawn. Turning awareness into strength means using your insight as a filter. When you see that someone secretly dislikes you, you can step back and ask yourself, do I really need this person in my inner circle? Do I need their approval? Or can I invest my time and heart into people who genuinely want me to succeed? That shift changes everything. You go from being reactive, constantly trying to decode other people's hidden signals, to proactive, building relationships rooted in trust and authenticity. It's like cleaning out a garden. The weeds have to be identified before you can pull them out. Otherwise, they choke the life out of everything else. There's also a deeper emotional strength that comes with awareness. When you spot hidden dislike, it hurts at first, because nobody enjoys realizing that someone doesn't truly support them. But over time, that sting becomes a shield. It teaches you resilience. You learn not to take every smile at face value, not to hand your trust to just anyone, and not to confuse politeness with loyalty. The moment you stop expecting everyone to like you is the moment you become unshakable. People's hidden feelings stop being a threat and start becoming information. Information that empowers you to move wisely. Let's be clear, awareness doesn't mean paranoia. It's not about walking into every room suspicious of every glance or every word. That would exhaust you. Instead, it's about balance. You read the signs, you trust your gut, but you don't let hidden dislike dominate your thoughts. You acknowledge it, you adjust accordingly, and then you keep moving forward with confidence. You don't let someone else's silent negativity dictate your path. That's strength, choosing to protect your peace without hardening your heart. Strength also means choosing the right response. Not every hidden dislike deserves confrontation. Sometimes the most powerful move is silence, stepping back without drama, without explanation, and allowing distance to do the work for you. Other times, strength means calling it out calmly and directly if the situation requires clarity. Either way, the key is control. You're not controlled by their secret feelings, you're guided by your awareness of them. That distinction is the difference between being reactive and being powerful. The greatest thing awareness does is remind you of your worth. When you know someone secretly dislikes you, it's easy to internalize it, to think, maybe something is wrong with me. But awareness allows you to flip that script. It's not about what's wrong with you, it's about what's misaligned between you and them. You can be the kindest, most authentic version of yourself, and still someone will dislike you. That's not your burden to carry. Strength is knowing that their hidden feelings don't define your value. Strength is knowing that you don't need universal approval to live boldly. And here's something powerful. When you become skilled at recognizing hidden dislike, you also become more skilled at recognizing true loyalty. You start to see who claps for you genuinely, who encourages you without jealousy, who supports you without hidden agendas. That clarity creates stronger, deeper bonds because you no longer confuse surface-level friendliness with real connection. By filtering out the false, you make room for the true. That's not just awareness, that's wisdom. So how do you turn this into daily strength? You begin by trusting your instincts. If someone's energy consistently leaves you uneasy, don't ignore it. Pay attention, notice patterns in how they treat you. Then decide what boundaries you need. Boundaries are where awareness meets action. It might mean limiting how much you share with that person, reducing your time with them, or even walking away entirely. Each time you act on your awareness, you strengthen your self-respect. And the more you practice this, the more confident you become. You no longer second-guess yourself. You no longer apologize for protecting your energy. You realize that not everyone is meant to walk with you, and that's okay, because your strength doesn't come from being liked by everyone. Your strength comes from knowing who you are, standing firm in it, and refusing to shrink just to make someone else comfortable. In the end, awareness is a gift. Hidden dislike isn't always obvious, but when you learn to see it, it frees you. It gives you the power to stop wasting time, to invest in the right people, and to walk with a new level of confidence. That's how awareness becomes strength, not by focusing on who doesn't like you, but by using that insight to protect your peace, sharpen your wisdom, and rise above the shadows of other people's unspoken feelings. At the end of the day, life is too short to waste your energy trying to decode fake smiles and hidden resentment. The truth is, not everyone will like you, and that's perfectly fine. What matters is that you walk with clarity, protect your peace, and never lower your value for someone who cannot see it. Hidden dislike may sting, but it's also a blessing in disguise because it reveals where you should not invest your time, your love, or your trust. Remember this, the people who truly matter will never make you question where you stand with them. They won't hide behind masks or pretend to support you while secretly resenting you. They will stand with you openly, encourage you sincerely, and celebrate you without hesitation. That's where your focus belongs. So, the next time you sense that subtle tension, the unspoken negativity, the disguised dislike, don't chase after it. Don't let it drain you. Instead, stand tall, guard your energy, and walk forward with strength, because your worth is not up for negotiation. Your peace is not up for sacrifice, and your life is far too precious to waste on people who can't be honest with you. You are stronger than hidden opinions. You are greater than silent resentment, and when you choose to stand in truth, no hidden dislike can hold you back. Walk boldly, live authentically, and never forget your power lies not in being liked by everyone, but in being true to yourself no matter who's watching.